Welcome to Dreamifesting, where we awaken to the power of our dreams. I'm your host, Dr. Dream, Kelly Sullivan Walden. So what is Dreamifesting? It's the fusion of manifesting and spirituality, taking inspired action toward your desires fueled by dreams. It's also the title of my new book. After writing it, I realized I had a lot more to say. That's why in every episode, we explore the intersection of sleep and awake, spirit and science, and yes, the holy and the guacamole. So grab your journal, light a candle, and get ready to Dreamifest, because as you are lifted, all are lifted. All right, we're going to be talking about Jeffrey's book, The Tiny Book of Big Manifesting. All right. I love this, and it totally ties into Dreamifesting so much. So you have 5 principles basically, and then there's this other section. I've highlighted all kinds of things. I'm just gonna, all right, so you've got also the code of life, which is really important. So let's talk about these 5 steps that are in the art of creation. Step 1.
Go ahead.
Step 1 is, what do you really want?
Well, that's the key question in all of life. Right. In my humble opinion, because if you don't know what you want, what you really want, then you can't get there. It's like a rudderless ship.
Yes.
And so you need that destination. You need to know where to aim for. There's another saying, if you don't aim somewhere, you can't hit the target.
Right. Exactly. There's I'm going to read from your book on page 24. I love this little analogy. So basically he talks about how you have to choose one thing to focus on. And that's really hard because there's a million things that we want, a million things that we're trying to dreamifest, manifest, create. But in order to really get everything cooking, you have to pick one specific thing. So here's what he says, and I love this analogy. He says, let's say you have a valve that needs X pounds of pressure applied to open. You have one source of force, and that one source is enough to open the valve, only if it's fully and exclusively applied to that one valve. But if you divide that force between the 2 valves, there's not enough to open the one valve you really want to open because some of the force has been diverted to the other valve. So I love that. I've never thought of it that way. You're right, but it's kind of like all the mojo. If it's going in one unified direction, things happen.
Yeah. Well, and that's why, to me, it's the most important question, one of the most difficult questions to answer. What do I really want? Because there's often all of these choices, and it really, to really work on manifesting, you really do need to pull into that one thing. It took me more than 10 years to figure out what that was, and it's really challenging, but that's what's the key.
Yeah. Okay. So that's where it starts. But I want to go backwards a little bit.
Okay.
I love the foreword of this book by Don Jose Ruiz. This is Don Miguel Ruiz's son. And it's quite a foreword. Most forewords are a few paragraphs, maybe a page or 2. This is it's its own book as the foreword, and he's really your champion.
Yes.
That's really cool. Is there any story behind how you got that cool foreword?
I would just say, from Mystic Journey being around, we're coming up to 17 years, and we've had so many amazing people walk through our doors, and some of them multiple times, and Don Jose is one of the people who've been here multiple times, and we just developed a wonderful friendship, and he was kind enough to extend that friendship to write the foreword to my book.
That's so cool. All right, so we're starting with these 5 steps, but I want to go back a little bit. I keep wanting to go back because I'm a dream person, so I go out of order. You were a lawyer, and a very successful lawyer, having all the things that a person is supposed to want, right?
Yeah.
All of the things.
Yeah.
And so tell us a little bit about what happened.
Okay, so like you said, I was sort of living the quote dream life. I was a successful lawyer, making a lot of money. I had a nice family, a big giant house, and just lots of friends, and everything was great, except after about 7 or 10 years of being a lawyer, I really started to not like it. And I became, really unhappy, and actually got to the point of dreading going to work, which I think a lot of people they stay and they stay and they stay, and then they get to that point of dread. I mean, and it's a bad state, and that
But you
leads to
had the
worse things.
golden handcuffs syndrome, which
Oh, yeah.
I love. I've heard the diamond handcuffs. You called it the golden handcuffs, where you're like bound to something or someone because it's paying the bills, it's making you a lot of money, but it's like kind of robbing your soul. And then there was a moment where you're like on the floor and you have this realization that you're going to get sick.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was probably wanting to get out of law for more than a decade, and one day I was on the floor in my condominium, just laying there, and I was like, if I don't get out of this soon, I'm gonna get sick. And right?
Yes, the paparazzi are here because they know Jeff is here. So we just have to like, oh my God, get a life, paparazzi. Go bug
Yeah.
Lady Gaga.
And so within a year of having that thought, I had given myself cancer, and that was really the, and from that, I mean, to condense things, I mean, it was from that I ultimately decided to leave law and open mystic journey. And so, all right, I gave myself cancer within a year.
Which is, I mean, we could pause here because this is a little controversial subject because, I know there's a lot of people that get sick and we don't want to shame anybody who's sick because nobody gets sick deliberately, but you have the authority to be able to speak about your own experience. You felt like, even kind of in the words of like the Toltec, like you went against yourself by staying with a job that wasn't serving you. And you own, I got myself sick. I gave myself cancer.
Well, and it wasn't deliberate.
Right.
I mean, and that's really so much of what people struggle with is that people are doing things either to themselves or in their lives subconsciously, without, I mean, we're always consciously co-creating with the universe.
Right.
And so, but a lot of times we're doing things and we're not realizing exactly what we're doing. I mean, ultimately, when I say I gave myself cancer, that's just taking responsibility.
Right. Which is one of your codes.
But I certainly wouldn't ever say that I deliberately made myself sick.
No, but we could, I mean, who knows? The higher self is saying like your true trajectory is this way, but you're like over here.
Right.
So we got to get his attention because he's not doing it. Those golden handcuffs keep getting tighter. So sometimes for a lot of people, their best manifesting or dreamifesting comes as a response to some form of pain, some kind of falling apart, something that like absolutely falls apart. So that's kind of like why my previous book is called "A Crisis is a Terrible Thing to Waste." You didn't waste your crisis. Right. You used it as a springboard.
I mean, everything is done in our minds, and everything really starts with a picture in our minds. And even as we're talking,
yes,
there's an image in our mind of what we're saying, even though we may not even consciously realize it.
So since we're doing that, we could ask everybody at this moment to stop and think about something that you want, something that if Jeffrey was your genie and I was his co-genie, we could make it manifest for you. So, but you have to be clear about it. So picture it, think about it. Okay, keep going.
I wrote in my book, and I go back. I mean, there's a line. So I would never call myself no biblical scholar, really, not even that versed in the Bible.
Yes.
But I there's a line that I think everybody knows it, and leaving aside the gender issue, that God created man in his image. And so I interpret that as saying God has the same ability as we have the same ability as God, and it's to create in the image. Right. And God created humanity in the image of its mind.
Right.
And that's really what that's about. God created humanity in its image, in the image of its mind.
Which is, I mean, that by itself is a completely radical thing.
Look, I believe we are God. I mean, I think everything is God.
Right.
And we are certainly God. I mean, look, there are different incarnations that have come into this plane that are on a little bit or a lot of bit of a accelerated path or a higher path than I may be, but we're still all the same, and it's all God. And if it's all God, then we're God.
Okay, so let's pause there, and I just want to check in with our studio audience, our gorgeous studio audience. How are you guys doing with this notion? And I mean, do you have any? Is it like bringing up anything? This We are God. Like, oh my God, how's that working for you? And maybe come up closer so you can be heard. Maybe I don't know, come next to me. I won't bite you. I might bite a little, but not
come
too
next to you.
Yes, sit here.
I think that
Get your cute face in.
Okay, hi.
I'm gonna get my face out of here.
No, oh, as we
Gotcha.
fall. Okay, so my take on the concept of us being like an image of God is, I don't take that as like super religious or controversial. It feels just more empowering because we can create similar to how God has created the universe. Like, I think people can feel that religion is a little bit like minimizing, and I think it actually empowers people and allows you to tap into spirituality and empowers you. So it makes sense to me, the concept of like us being almost godlike, and that we can really create anything we want to through manifestation.
Sister,
Yeah.
witch in the corner office.
Witch in the corner office. That's my take. Yeah.
And your name
Thank
again,
you.
first and last, an Instagram handle.
Yeah. Jessica Gallo, Gals on the Go is my Instagram.
And TikTok?
And TikTok, I think, as well.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's great.
And did you have a question as well? Anything you wanted to bring up?
No, Jess is
Okay.
Thank you,
I got the
Jessica.
joke.
Hi,
Thank
Jessica. Did you know that every night when you nestle yourself into bed and close your eyes to the outside world, you're sleeping on untapped potential that could positively change your life? I'm Kelly Sullivan Walden, author of Dreamifesting. It's not just another book on manifesting, but a revolutionary approach blending science, spirituality, and the wisdom of your subconscious. Through Dreamifesting, you'll learn to set intentions before bed, decode your dreams so you'll awaken with insights to unlock opportunities you otherwise would have missed. In Dreamifesting, you'll meet real people who won the lottery, overcame impossible odds, and met the love of their life, all guided by dreams. If you want better health, better wealth, a better career, Dreamifesting will give you the tools to make it happen. I'm Kelly Sullivan Walden, author of Dreamifesting. It's not just a book. It's the gateway to the life of your dreams. A big round of applause, Witch in the Corner office. Okay. It's kind of exciting. I mean, it's a little daunting to think that, wow, we're responsible, but then that does tie back into one of your core values. You guys, core values, which is about like responsibility, like taking full responsibility. So it's not just like I'm God and that's cool and everything's fine. And like, but it's like, oh, I need to own my bleep. Like I need to own what I do. Right?
You have to own everything you do. I mean, you create everything in your life.
Right.
Good, bad, and in between.
Good, bad, and the funky and the monkey. Okay. So number 3, don't doubt, be patient. Faith is the key. That's a lot for number 3. Don't doubt anything you say with like very clearly.
Yeah. So I think
Don't doubt.
I think that the doubt is the manifestation killer. It really is. And because once and the flip side of that coin is that faith is the key. I mean, I still carry a little Post-it in my wallet for over 20 years that says faith is the key. And this is, it's trusting the universe, which is sort of a phrase that is out there a lot right now, and it really is about trusting in the universe, trusting in yourself, and having that belief. And look, we all have doubts. Yeah. And it's not easy to control them. But it's part of the practice. It's part of the work. And as I write, once you do the practice and it works, then it becomes actually easier. And the next time when you want to manifest something, your doubts are less because you have the confidence that it had worked in the previous time.
So I want to just kind of push back a tiny bit.
Push back all you like.
So I'm a scholar of Joseph Campbell, The Hero's Journey. And one of the things when I teach about the hero's journey, I always say that, so step number 1 is kind of being in the ordinary world. Number 2 is you get a call to an adventure. And sometimes the adventure comes as a response to the kingdom that you're in being in ruin. In your case, that's kind of what happened. Like you couldn't stay there anymore. Things fell apart. And that's when it gets good. But then there's resistance to the call. There's the refusal of the call. And it's not just a single step. along the journey. I think that the resistance, the doubt kind of comes along on the journey. It's just, I think, like in reading what you said, you just don't let it drive. It might come, it might be like wah, 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 but you just don't let it take over. Because I know people are watching or listening and they're like, I have doubt all the time. Does that mean I can never have anything? So how do you grapple with getting the doubt out of the driver's seat?
So again, I don't think that I don't know that there's any way to completely eliminate all doubt.
Correct.
And so the question then becomes, it's sort of like light overpowering or taking or filling the darkness.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's when your faith in your belief in what you're doing becomes stronger than the doubt.
Yes.
The doubt diminishes and really gets, almost pushed under the rug so that the manifestation process works. And look, it's a growing process too, about learning to let the doubt come in and flow through, and like you said, not hang on to it, not let it be the driver of the chariot.
Right. The chariot. Nice tarot reference there. Absolutely. Exactly. So the doubt can come. It just doesn't get to drive. It can be in the passenger seat or in the back seat, not in the trunk, because even if you try to throw it out, I think it comes back with fangs. So we have to just love it and lovingly set it in the back seat. Give it a toy. Give it some snacks. Do something just like not driving the car. Okay. Anything else you want to say on that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would just add, I mean, and look, this is my experience, right?
Yes.
But my experience is that there have been multiple times in my life where I wanted to manifest something, and really in the process had such faith in the process and in myself that they're really the doubts evaporated.
Yeah.
The patience part is a little hard at times,
right?
But it really is, a matter of having that faith and letting the doubt just evaporate.
You tell you tell a bunch of really cool stories. One of the stories, I'm going to start it and then you finish it.
Okay.
So you have all these beautiful, massive crystals, and you're about to make the biggest sale of your life, of like one of these like 1,000-pound crystals, except you can't move it. You can't get it to their place, to the buyer's location. And then that means that the sale would be off. So then you're like, okay, I'm going to have to give up this. And I really need the money. I really need this sale, but I can't do it. Time is ticking. And then what happens?
And so I was at the store, and I had been like, I need some help. I need someone to come and move this piece. And then one day somebody like came into the store, and they're like,
back door,
right at the back door, and knocked on the door, and they're like, do you have a crystal to move? And I was like, well, I do, but I didn't call anybody. And they're like, oh, well, we're here looking to move it. We're looking for Felix. And I'm like, there's no Felix here. He's across the street. And so they're like, oh, well, thank you. I'm like, hey, wait. You guys move crystals? And they're like, well, yeah, we can do that for you. And then boom, I had the person like walked into my life.
Yeah.
And we moved the crystal and made the sale.
I love this so much, because it's like, exactly, you had a very specific request, a very, like, almost demand. And then it came through the back door. I mean, that's even symbolic that he didn't come through the front door. It wasn't obvious.
Yeah.
And it was exactly what you needed. And you almost sent him away. Like, no, I don't need it. But wait, which is, I love that. I love it. Okay. All right. So I just want to say, we can feel the doubt, but we let our faith become stronger. And the more we feed it, the stronger it gets. And then we watch for the miracles that do show up. Okay. Number 4, watch your tongue. Watch your mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, boy, we say things so often, whether it's out of emotion, whether it's, as we sometimes say, without thinking.
Yes.
Right. And all of these things that we say tend to lead towards manifesting whatever we say. Again, when we say it, we're creating an image in our mind, and it's the imagery that in my view is really what drives the manifestation process. So it's so important. I mean, I'll talk with people, and I'm like, sometimes I'll like stop and think, and I'll say to people, I choose my words very carefully.
And we're talking about his 5-step formula for manifesting. And I love that the book is little and it's short and sweet and to the point. I mean, I'm known for, oh gosh, I'm glitching here. I'm known for being a little long in the tooth, but I appreciate it when somebody just gets to the friggin' point. Like, I just want to learn. I just want to know what to do. And you just tell them.
Well, it took me a while to get there. I have to tell you, when I was a lawyer, I used to write analysis letters. That was what my job was. I wrote a 70-page letter.
Oh,
so
no.
I had to grow into that.
Oh my God. Okay. So watch your tongue. So far, I'm going to back us up. Take the first step. Do what you really want. Practice using mental imagery. So you're very specific with what you see that you want to create. And I would just add, do that at bedtime, right before you go to sleep.
When you get up and at bedtime.
Exactly. Do a dream sandwich. Think about this before you go to sleep. And then when you wake up in the morning, and then even consider that your dream is giving you some insight about steps to take. So that would just be the mashup of our work. And then watch. Oh, wait, don't doubt. Be patient. Faith is the key. Watch your tongue, watch your mind. Okay, we are creating machines. That's number 5. We are creating machines. So what do you mean by that? You mentioned a little bit about that earlier, but.
Yeah, no, that's, I think we're really here to make this plane of existence better for everyone. I mean, that really is, a huge part of it. I mean, I really, in my view, we're here for God to experience itself on this plane. And part of that is to experience itself in its best possible potential. And so we are always, like I've said, I mean, we are in every thought, in every word, in every deed, we're creating, whether we think we are or not, consciously thinking or not, we are. And that's, that's really, what we've been incarnated to do, is to create and make the place a better place.
And it's interesting because you've surrounded yourself by these beautiful crystals. So sometimes we humans, not myself, of course, and I'm sure not you, but we have some stinking thinking. And sometimes the crystals can help us cleanse them. I mean, being around these high vibe geodes and like earth energy, like entities from the earth that are, like, they're here to help us heal. Like, we don't have to do it all by ourselves. If you're watching or listening and you're in a spiral that's really difficult and hard, it might be hard, but you can lean on some of the resources that are around you. I mean, they just come in here, maybe they'll get a reading, maybe they'll read a book, but there is a sanctuary here. So I recommend that you go out and find a place. If you're not in Southern California and you can't come to Mystic Journey, well, you can always go to the website, Mystic Journey LA.com. But if there's some crystal shop, or even just go outside and take your shoes off and just hug a tree to get yourself back into that high vibe place, because you're creating and you want to make sure you're creating from a high vibe. Right? Okay. So this part 2 of the book is a code of life. So what made you think to add this piece to the book? It's really great. I want to read them to everybody, but
so look, so we sell a lot of books. We're partially a bookstore.
Yeah.
And so there are lots of books on manifesting.
Yes.
And in the end, they're all saying the same things in slightly different manner.
Yeah.
But I think that you can read all of these things, and you can read all of the practices, and you can read all of the theories. But if you're living your life in a completely inauthentic, nasty,
incongruent
way, then it's like putting sand in the gears. And by following some of the things that I suggest in the Code of Life part of the book, rather than putting sand in the gears, it greases.
You're
the
adding
wheels.
grease to the wheels. And one of the things you talk about in the very beginning of the book is kind of establishing your credibility for why you have the authority to write this book. And because you've created so many things, you've created a beautiful life, beautiful relationships, but this is the largest, and it's like crystal and bookstore in Los Angeles.
Yes.
And a lot of these other stores that have been similar have folded. I mean, it's a tough economy for brick and mortar stores, and yet still here you are, and you've created this sanctuary for people to come into. And that's quite a feat. For how many years from the beginning till now?
Will be 17 years.
17 years.
And I can tell you, one of the things that makes my heart sing, makes me feel fulfilled, is so many people come in
Oh, yeah.
and say how Mystic Journey has affected their life,
Right.
you know, in
Yeah.
in a positive way.
Right.
And
Yeah.
and I mean, really, it's sometimes, you know, it actually overwhelms me. But, you know, and that's, again, you know, what we're here to be of service, and everything that we offer,
Yeah.
I consider them tools.
Yes.
Tools to help people either heal or move along the path or to discover. But these are all tools to evolve.
Yeah, it's a quite a thing. I mean, when you're a hurting human being, which many of us are, especially these days, we need places to go that are respites, that are like a place of sanctuary.
Uh-huh.
So I'm gonna just read these 10 codes,
Okay.
and then I have a question for you. So here's the 10 codes for life. The universe will always provide. Watch for the small, everyday miracles. Everything is one universal energy. Be tolerant of others and their beliefs. Everyone? Okay, I guess everyone. Take full responsibility. We talked about this one earlier, for all your actions. You know right from wrong. So, you know. Integrity is the foundation of manifestation. I think that's the one I want to loop back to. Don't give negative energy to anything or anyone. I added that, to anything. Worry is the worst form of manifestation.
Yeah.
Like, knock it off. Bap. Okay. It is impossible to try.
Yep. You either do or you don't.
All right. Didn't Yoda say that? There is no try. I can't do a Yoda impersonation. Don't put things off. Life isn't short, but it goes by fast. Yeah. The only thing certain is change. Don't end with, I wish I had. And lastly, take risks. Don't be afraid. It's up to you. Okay. So I want to talk about the integrity. Integrity is the foundation of manifestation. So you talk about how, like, it's like if somebody wants to have something that's beyond what they already have, you can't cheat your way to the top. I mean, you can, and you might get there, but is it going to last? It'll be like the tower that's just inevitably going to topple over. Yeah. So you must walk your talk.
So, right. You know, to me, integrity is really about being honest with yourself, honest with others. And if you're not honest with yourself and with others, then how can the universe trust you to be honest with it? So you're asking the universe to bring you things, to manifest things, to co-create with you, and it's saying, well, I'm not really sure you're telling me the truth. This is really what you really do want, because you're living in your daily life untruths. Right. So why should the universe believe you're telling it the truth in that moment?
Right. Well, there's even in kinesiology, like if I say my name is Susan, I become weak. Like if I say I'm Kelly, then it's like, ooh, I'm strong because I'm telling the truth. And so it just doesn't serve us to do those shortcuts.
Like, no, and look, and I believe, it's even, look, we call them little white lies. Yeah. But even the little white lies, they're you can take out white and little, and they're just lies. And whether they're big lies or they're little lies, they're out of integrity. Yeah. And then they start to build up, and really, I think it really makes manifesting way more difficult. Exactly. Right. So I'd say then do the best you can, like get back on track, and notice, at least be honest with somebody. Right. Right. Well, and this goes with the one, right from wrong. And so look, when you're not telling the truth, you know, people know, it, right. It's not honest. And so, it's a matter of being honest with yourself, saying that's not honest. I'm not going to say that either to myself or to someone else. My husband and I are watching the show 9 Perfect Strangers with Nicole Kidman. It's a show on TV about plant medicine, and it's interesting. And there's one character that she's been lying to her daughter, and she says, "Why'd you lie? She says, "Oh, the truth is just so messy and so inconvenient." And it's true, but eventually kaplow. Yeah. Okay, so as we wrap this up, anything I should have asked you, anything that you want to talk about that
didn't have a chance to.
Yeah, let me grab the book for
Yeah,
one
yeah,
quick
yeah.
second, because there was
I
one
love
thing
this
that
cover, by the way.
did. Thanks.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So I have near the end of chapter where
Yes.
it says, "Don't end saying I wish I had."
Right. Yeah.
And to me, that is just, I mean, it's sort of how I live my life. I mean, because look, there can be people who judge how I've lived my life and what I've done, and look, I mean, look, I could leave this interview and get in a car accident and it's over, right? You never know, and so I've really lived my life not saying, oh, I'm gonna wait, I'll do this down the road, I'll do this, in a year, I'll do this when I retire. I mean, it's really like, do it. I mean, have the courage and do it, and never get. I mean, I don't want to be like, towards the end and say, oh my God, I wish I had gone here, or I wish I had did this business, or whatever it is. And I think that's a very good. I just think it's a generally good philosophy of life.
Right. So to kind of live as if death were over the shoulder, and to live in a way that would have you on your deathbed, where you'd be like, I did it.
There was a thing that came up where I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's like living your life as though you knew tomorrow was your last day.
Yeah.
And because and making, because that makes every day full.
Yeah.
Every day full.
It's a beautiful, beautiful way to end this. And I just want to say, I've known about you guys. I've been a part of the Mystic Journey world. I mean, just coming in, doing some book events, and for so many years. And it's always been this bright spot. And Mystic Journey, it's a beloved place. So I just, on behalf of so many people that get so much, and of all the things you've heard people say, there's a million other things that you haven't heard that have all been incredibly positive. There's not one negative thing. I mean, this is nothing but, and how many places on planet Earth can you say that about? So bravo to you for all that you've created. And then you've condensed it all into this little teeny book, the tiny book of big manifesting. So make sure you go get your copy. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And until we all meet again, don't take your dreams or your manifesting lying down. Thanks for tuning in to Dreamifesting. If your inner light is shining a bit brighter, share the glow. Like, subscribe, and spread the word. Until next time, remember, the more you pay attention to your dreams, the better you live. The better you live, the more you lift us all. So keep dreaming, keep believing, and keep dreamifesting.